Welcome to Dr. Tom Talks. Today, with the help of the biodigital human, I'm going to be talking about Eli Lilly's drug, donanemab, and the recent trial data release that shows us that it could slow the progression of the disease by up to a third, which is quite big news in the Alzheimer's disease world. So I'm going to be talking about what Alzheimer's disease is, how Alzheimer's disease works, how this drug potentially could combat how Alzheimer's disease works, and then also what the study showed. So here on your left, you have a healthy brain, and you'll see it's nice and plump. There are narrow sulci, the gaps between the gyri, and the gyri are nice and fat. If you look over here at an Alzheimer's brain, these gyri, so I'm just going to click on a gyrus right here, they're narrow, they're smaller. The brain actually shrinks potentially by up to a third. And then you'll see the space between these gyri called the sulci, they become wider. So the actual cortex of the brain, the outer layer of the brain, it shrinks. So if you cut the brain in half, you can see that these areas in the middle of the brain, these fluid-filled areas, they actually get bigger. These are the ventricles of the brain. So why is that the case? Well, if we zoom into the brain and we look at cells of the brain, these are the neurons, and I just go into the full screen mode so you can see a little bit better, you'll see there are nerve signals, impulses that go through from one neuron to another. And there's gaps between these neurons. So that a neuron is just a cell within the brain. And within those gaps, that's the area that this drug is targeting. Because what happens is, in Alzheimer's, is that there are certain plaques, which I'm just going to draw in here using the draw feature, that build up. These are called beta amyloid plaques. So I'm just going to build them up as little clumps here that keep on just disrupting the nerve signal between these neurons. And so you'll see that the nerve signal has actually stopped. It's getting in the way, which is what scientists believe is the cause behind things like memory loss and so on within Alzheimer's dementia, because of this disrupted signaling. And it ends up actually causing cell death. So what this drug does is it comes in and it attacks these proteins right here. I'm just going to draw the drug in these arrows, and it ends up getting rid of them. And that's why it's believed that this drug works, and that in this most recent trial, it's shown to slow the progression of the disease by up to a third, which is pretty huge. So what did this study actually show? Well, it took about 2,000 people. And as I mentioned, it slowed the disease by about 29% in one group, 35% in another group. And those who received the drug, they were also able to retain more of their day-to-day lives, such as being able to discuss current events and drive or pursue their hobbies. And the way that the study was done, they took a placebo group, so a group that didn't receive the drug, and then a group that did receive the drug. And that's how the results of the trial were derived. We don't have the full study published yet, but it's pretty promising news in the Alzheimer's disease world. So this is a great step forward. This has been a Dr. Tom Talk, a special on donanemab, the drug from Eli Lilly that just came out. For more on Alzheimer's, please go to biodigital.com, and I have a whole Tom Talk on how the disease works if you'd like to see that as well. Thanks very much.